Ladies and gentlemen, we often find ourselves caught in the turbulence of our minds and the chaos of our lives, searching for ways to improve, to become better versions of ourselves. Yet the key to self-improvement is not found in rigid striving or unattainable ideals. It is found in the simple, profound understanding of who we are and our place in the world. Here are 10 things that can improve you not by changing who you are, but by allowing you to more fully embrace who you already are. Embrace change as life's natural rhythm. We live in a world of constant flux. To resist change is to resist life itself. The seasons change, the tides ebb and flow, and so must we. By embracing impermanence, we allow ourselves to move with life, not against it. Recognize that every moment is an opportunity for transformation. Live in the present. The present moment is all we truly have. The past is but a shadow, the future a distant horizon. If we want to improve, we must learn to focus on what is in front of us now. Each breath, each step, each conversation is a treasure when we give it our full attention. Release expectations. When we expect things to go a certain way, we often miss the beauty of how they unfold naturally. Life does not exist to meet our expectations. It exists to surprise us, to reveal itself in unexpected ways. Release your expectations, and you will find freedom in the unknown. Let go of the need for control. Control is an illusion. We cannot control everything, nor should we try. Life has its own course, and when we stop gripping tightly, we allow space for things to unfold with ease and grace. Surrender to the flow, and you will discover that life has a way of working out in ways you could never have imagined. Live playfully. Life is not a burden to carry, it is a dance to enjoy. When was the last time you did something just for the joy of it, without any goal or expectation? Playfulness is not only for children, it is a tool for adults to reconnect with the simple joys of existence. Cultivate curiosity. Approach life with a childlike wonder. Ask questions, explore new ideas, and embrace the unknown. It is through curiosity that we open ourselves to learning and growing. Let your inquisitive nature guide you to new perspectives and experiences. Understand your connection to the whole. You are not an isolated being. You are a part of an interconnected web of life. The trees, the animals, the people, the very air you breathe are all part of the same system. Recognizing this unity brings compassion, understanding, and a deep sense of belonging. Let go of the fixed self. The self is not static. It is a fluid, ever-changing experience. When we understand that the self is not fixed, we open ourselves to new possibilities. We are not the person we were yesterday, nor are we the person we will be tomorrow. We are a continuous unfolding, and this realization can free us from the confines of identity. Seek silence in a world that is constantly demanding our attention. Silence becomes a sanctuary. In stillness, we find clarity. In silence, we hear the voice of our deeper self. Make time for silence, for in it lies the wisdom you seek. Practice compassion. The most profound improvement you can make is in how you relate to others. When we release judgment and cultivate compassion, we open our hearts to the world. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer to a loved one, and you will find that the world around you becomes a much kinder place. In conclusion, these 10 things are not steps to be climbed, but realizations to be embraced. They are not about fixing yourself, but about recognizing that you are already whole. By letting go of what you think you should be and embracing what you are, you will improve not because you try to be better, but because you allow yourself to be. Life, in its very essence, is impermanent. It is a river constantly flowing, never stagnant, always in motion. Everything around us, our relationships, our experiences, our circumstances, shifts and changes with the passing of time. Yet, as human beings, we often fight against this natural flow, clinging to what we know and desire stability. We build attachments to things, people, and moments, hoping they will remain the same, only to be disappointed when change inevitably comes. In truth, impermanence is not something to fear or resist, but something to embrace and understand. At the core of this understanding is the recognition that change is the only constant. Just as the seasons move from winter to spring, from summer to fall, life too moves through phases. The moments we hold on to so dearly, whether joyful or painful, are as fleeting as the next breath we take. And yet we often try to hold on to them, afraid that once they pass, we may never experience them again. This fear of losing what we have blinds us to the beauty of what is right in front of us. To embrace impermanence is to accept that life is fluid. It is to let go of the need to control every outcome, to understand that nothing is fixed. Our personal growth, our joy, our pain, they all arise and dissolve in their own time. And in the space between these moments, we find the freedom to truly live. If we hold on to the past or try to predict the future, we miss the richness of the present. The reality is, by the time we recognize a moment as significant, it has already passed. But in embracing impermanence, we find that each moment can be significant simply because it is. The beauty of impermanence is that it frees us. It allows us to let go of attachments to material possessions, societal expectations, and the need for everything to be permanent. Nothing can truly be possessed, for all things, whether people, objects, or experiences, are in constant motion. And if we can accept this, we can release our grip on the illusion of permanence and, in doing so, become more fully alive in the present moment. Our relationships, for example, are not meant to be fixed or constant. They evolve, and in that evolution they offer new layers of connection, understanding, and growth. Trying to keep a relationship locked in one phase of its existence limits its potential. The key is not to try to preserve it as it once was, but to flow with it as it changes, to adapt and grow together. When we look at the natural world, we see impermanence all around us. A flower blooms in the spring and withers in the fall. The ocean's waves crash against the shore, only to retreat and crash again. The animals, the trees, and the skies, they are all in a constant dance of birth, life, death, and rebirth, and this constant cycle is not one of loss but of renewal. Each moment of change brings the opportunity for something new. When we let go of the past, we make space for the new to come in. The old experiences, the old attachments, the old pain, these can all be released, making room for new joys, discoveries, and lessons. Embracing impermanence also means letting go of the need for certainty. We live in a world that is obsessed with security, financial, emotional, even spiritual. We build plans and structures to make our lives predictable, and yet the unpredictability of life is what gives it its flavor. It is the unknown that offers us mystery and excitement, pushing us to grow and to reach beyond our limitations. If we allow ourselves to step into the unknown, we experience a freedom that can never be achieved through control. The acceptance of impermanence allows us to see the world with clearer eyes. Instead of lamenting what is lost or what may never be again, we learn to appreciate things in their transient beauty. We realize that the moments we live in are precious precisely because they will not last forever. And when we appreciate this fleeting nature, we are able to cherish the present more deeply. The joy of life comes not from holding on to things, but from experiencing them fully, while they last. In embracing impermanence, we stop fighting against the natural course of things. We come to understand that change is not something to be feared, but something to be welcomed. For it is through change that we find renewal, growth, and the continuous unfolding of life's possibilities. By releasing the illusion of permanence, we can step into a more authentic, alive way of being, where each moment is honored, not as a fleeting thing to be held onto, but as a unique experience to be fully lived. And in doing so, we come to realize that it is not in the permanence of things that we find meaning, but in their impermanence. To be present is to fully immerse ourselves in the experience of the moment, to embrace the here and now without distraction or longing for something else. It is a state of mind where our attention, energy, and awareness are anchored firmly in the present moment, not caught in the regrets of the past or the anxieties about the future. The concept seems simple, yet it is often elusive in our modern lives. We are surrounded by a constant stream of thoughts, tasks, and obligations, and in the midst of this whirlwind, we often forget to just be. Being present is more than just paying attention. It is a deep engagement with life as it unfolds. It involves more than just noticing what is happening around us. It means participating fully, with all of our senses and all of our being. This presence invites us to be mindful, to connect not only with the world around us, but with the deeper, quieter parts of ourselves. It is about experiencing the richness of life in its entirety, without rushing ahead or looking back. In a world that constantly demands our attention, being present can feel like an act of resistance. We are constantly pulled in different directions by emails, social media, work, and societal expectations. Our minds are rarely still, and our bodies often move through life in a detached manner, performing tasks mechanically, without true awareness of the process. When we do this, we miss out on the depth of experience that is available to us in every moment. We become spectators of our own lives rather than active participants. To be present is to stop worrying about what has already happened or what might happen. The past is gone and the future is not here yet. All that we truly have is this moment, the breath we take, the sensations in our bodies, the sound of a voice, the warmth of the sun, the taste of our food. When we focus on what is here, we open ourselves up to the wonder and richness that exist all around us. These moments are fleeting, and if we are not present, they slip by unnoticed. In contrast, when we engage with the present, we begin to realize that the moments of life are far more meaningful than the destinations we are often trying to reach. Being present also means embracing the imperfection of the moment. Often we resist what is happening because it doesn't align with our expectations or desires. We want things to be different, to be more comfortable, more convenient, or more pleasurable. But when we resist what is, we deny ourselves the opportunity to truly experience life as it is. By accepting the present moment with all its flaws and imperfections, we free ourselves from the need for constant control and find peace in the flow of life. In fact, it is often in the most challenging moments that we find the deepest connection to the present, as we are forced to let go of everything else and simply be with what is. To be present also requires us to cultivate a sense of gratitude. When we are fully aware of the present, we begin to see the beauty in the small things, the gentle rhythm of our breath, the sound of rain tapping on the window, the warmth of a hug, or the taste of a meal shared with others. These simple, everyday experiences hold the potential for joy when we allow ourselves to fully experience them. Gratitude arises when we open ourselves to the moment without distractions, appreciating the world as it is rather than longing for what it could be. It is in these moments that we find true contentment, because we are no longer looking outside ourselves for happiness, but rather recognizing the abundance already present in our lives. Being present is not just about mindfulness in moments of calm, it is about bringing awareness into every aspect of our lives. Whether we are engaged in mundane tasks or experiencing moments of profound emotion, we can choose to be present. When we bring our full attention to whatever we are doing, When we bring our full attention to whatever we are doing, whether it's washing dishes, having a conversation, or walking in nature, we deepen our experience of life. The ordinary becomes extraordinary when we give it our full presence. In a world that often moves too fast, being present offers us a chance to slow down. It reminds us that life is not a race to be won or a checklist to be completed, but a journey to be lived with awareness and intention. By being present, we begin to see that life is not something that happens to us, it is something we participate in moment by moment. When we stop to fully experience the present, we realize that it is in these small, seemingly insignificant moments that life's true richness resides. Ultimately, being present is a choice, a conscious decision to step away from the distractions of the mind and into the fullness of now. It is an invitation to engage with life as it unfolds, to connect with ourselves and others in a more profound way, and to experience the beauty and wonder of life that is available to us at every moment. It is in the present that we truly come alive. Expectations are powerful forces that shape the way we experience the world, often without us even realizing it. From the moment we wake up, we carry with us a set of expectations about how the day will unfold, what people will do, and how events will turn out. We expect things to go a certain way, whether it's our career path, the relationships we nurture, or even the small tasks we complete. These expectations, however, can often trap us in a cycle of disappointment and frustration when life does not conform to our desires or plans. Detaching from these expectations is not about abandoning goals or becoming indifferent to outcomes, rather. It is about releasing the tight grip we have on how things should be and embracing life as it unfolds in its own time and rhythm. Expectations are born from our desires, hopes, and fears. We project our ideals onto the future, imagining that the way we want things to unfold is the only possible path for happiness or fulfillment. When we are attached to these expectations, we create a mental picture of how reality should align with our desires. This can lead to a profound sense of dissatisfaction when things do not match up. The disappointment that arises from unmet expectations can cloud our ability to appreciate the present moment and the inherent beauty in what is. Life is not a scripted play, it is an unpredictable journey, and when we try to force it into the narrow confines of our expectations, we often miss out on the richness that is already present. To detach from expectations is to release the need to control every outcome and to trust that things will unfold as they are meant to. This does not mean giving up on our goals, nor does it mean we become passive participants in life. On the contrary, detaching from expectations allows us to engage more fully with the present moment. It frees us from the tension that comes from trying to predict or control what is beyond our control. We learn to accept that life is uncertain, and in that uncertainty we discover a kind of freedom. When we let go of rigid expectations, we open ourselves to the possibility of new experiences. Instead of adhering to a fixed outcome, we learn to embrace the unknown, to explore life with curiosity and openness. Every moment becomes a fresh opportunity for discovery, and we stop measuring each experience against a predefined set of standards. The joy of life is found not in things turning out the way we expect, but in the unexpected twists and turns that bring new growth, learning, and meaning. In this way, detaching from expectations can lead to a deeper sense of fulfillment, because we no longer rely on external circumstances to determine our happiness. It is important to recognize that expectations are not always conscious. We may have deeply ingrained beliefs about how life should unfold, beliefs that have been shaped by family, culture, and society. These beliefs can create pressure to meet certain standards or milestones at specific times. But when we operate based on these ingrained expectations, we may unknowingly set ourselves up for disappointment. We may overlook the subtle moments of grace and joy that happen when we are not focused on achieving a specific outcome. By detaching from these expectations, we allow ourselves to step off the conveyor belt of comparison and timing that society often places us on. We no longer have to measure our lives against anyone else's because we have learned to trust our own journey, knowing that it is unfolding exactly as it should. Detaching from expectations also means accepting the full spectrum of life's experiences. We can no longer see challenges, setbacks, or failures as deviations from our plan. Instead, we begin to view them as essential parts of our growth. When we attach rigid expectations to the way life should be, we become afraid of anything that deviates from that plan. But when we release this attachment, we start to see every moment, even the difficult ones, as opportunities for learning and growth. The uncomfortable moments are just as important as the pleasurable ones. They offer us the chance to discover new strengths, insights, and perspectives. To truly detach from expectations, we must cultivate mindfulness and awareness. We must learn to recognize when we are attaching ourselves to a particular outcome, or when we are resisting the present moment, because it does not align with our preconceived notions. Once we become aware of these tendencies, we can begin to let go of the need for control. The more we practice detaching from expectations, the more we come to understand that life is not something to be fixed or managed, but something to be lived with presence, openness, and acceptance. In the end, detaching from expectations does not mean giving up hope or ambition. It means letting go of the burden of having to control every detail of our lives. It means trusting the process, allowing ourselves to experience life as it comes, and finding peace in the flow of existence. When we detach from expectations, we make room for wonder, spontaneity, and joy. Life becomes less about trying to force things to happen a certain way and more about fully engaging with whatever comes our way, knowing that each moment is perfect in its imperfection. The desire for control is deeply ingrained in the human experience. From a young age, we are taught to manage our surroundings, make decisions, and shape our futures. Control provides us with a sense of security, predictability, and comfort. It gives us the illusion that we are steering the course of our lives and that everything is in its place, but the truth is, control is often an illusion. one that we desperately cling to in the face of life's uncertainty. The more we try to control, the more we limit our ability to experience life in its full, spontaneous, and unpredictable form. Letting go of the need for control is not about abandoning responsibility or becoming passive. It is about acknowledging that there are forces in the world that are beyond our grasp and accepting that we do not need to control everything to live a fulfilling, meaningful life. Our control manifests in many aspects of life: the way we approach our relationships, our careers, and even our emotions. We plan, we structure, we schedule, and we hope that everything will unfold exactly as we envision it. When things don't go according to plan, we feel frustration, anxiety, or a sense of failure. We may even feel as though we have failed at life itself because the outcome is not what we expected. But in truth, the more we cling to control, the more we close ourselves off from the natural flow of life, the surprises, and the lessons that come from surrendering to what is. Life, by its very nature, is unpredictable, and it is this unpredictability that gives life its depth, its beauty, and its potential for growth. Letting go of the need for control is not a denial of our power to act, but a recognition of the limits of our influence. There are things we can control, certainly our actions, our attitudes, our choices in the present moment. But there are countless variables that exist outside of our control, from the actions of others to the forces of nature, to the simple unfolding of time itself. When we try to control everything, we inevitably set ourselves up for disappointment because life will always surprise us in ways that are beyond our comprehension or prediction. But if we allow ourselves to release the need to control the outcome, we open ourselves to a more fluid and adaptable way of living. In relationships, for example, the desire to control can lead to manipulation, conflict, and dissatisfaction. We may want others to behave in a certain way, to think and feel according to our expectations. But people, like all things in life, are dynamic, not static. They change, evolve, and act according to their own inner worlds, and when we try to control them, we stifle the natural course of connection and growth. True relationships are based on mutual respect, trust, and freedom, not control. When we let go of the need to control how others behave or think, we create space for authentic connection. We learn to appreciate others for who they are, not for who we want them to be. In the realm of work and success, the need for control often shows up as perfectionism, anxiety, or burnout. We may believe that if we just work harder, manage our time better, or anticipate every possible challenge, we can ensure success. But even the most well-laid plans can be derailed by circumstances beyond our control. And yet this is not a failure, it is simply part of the ebb and flow of life. When we let go of the need for perfection and control in our careers, we become more open to creativity, innovation, and the joy of discovery. We learn to embrace the process rather than obsessing over the outcome. Success, in this sense, is no longer measured solely by external achievements, but by the satisfaction we derive from fully engaging with the journey, regardless of where it leads. Emotions, too, are often subjects of our attempts at control. We may try to suppress, deny, or manipulate our feelings because we fear their intensity or their unpredictability. But emotions are part of the natural human experience, and trying to control them only leads to greater inner conflict and repression. The more we resist our feelings, the stronger they become. When we let go of the need to control our emotions, we allow ourselves to feel them fully. This acceptance opens the door to emotional healing, growth, and self-awareness. We realize that emotions are not enemies to be tamed, but signals that offer valuable information about our inner state. By embracing them, we move beyond judgment and into understanding. Letting go of the need for control also means releasing the pressure to always have the answers or to know exactly what comes next. The future is uncertain, and no matter how much we plan or prepare, there will always be elements beyond our control. But this uncertainty is not something to fear. In fact, it is the space where possibility lies. When we let go of the need to control, we give ourselves permission to live with curiosity, openness, and flexibility. We stop forcing ourselves into rigid patterns and allow life to unfold in its own time and rhythm. The unknown is not a threat, it is an invitation to explore, to discover, and to grow in ways we could never have predicted. Letting go of the need for control is about embracing the natural flow of life. It is about trusting in the process, accepting that there is beauty in unpredictability, and finding peace in the present moment without constantly trying to shape it into something else. By releasing our grip on control, we open ourselves to a life of greater freedom, spontaneity, and joy. We begin to live not from a place of fear, but from a place of trust and acceptance, knowing that even in the uncertainty, everything is unfolding as it should. The struggle to control the moment can be exhausting. We often resist what is happening because it doesn't match our desires or it feels uncomfortable, chaotic, or uncertain. We may try to push against the flow of life, believing that we must have everything figured out, that we must always be in control.